Some people always ask me, Anna, I want to start budgeting. How do I get into that? Guys, it's the end of 2025, entering 2026. This is the best time to start now. Let's get into it in 5 steps. Number 1, you have to audit your finances. And the beauty of this is, no, I don't want you to go to your perfect month of the year, the month that you spent the best. Go to the most recent month. And so if you're seeing this in December, go to November. Whatever month you're seeing this, go to the most recent month and see how much you spent. I will give you an excuse if you did something traveled or something big that month, then maybe use another month. But you need to get an idea of what you're spending on all these different categories. Here are the categories I would use personally to figure out what you're spending things on. Housing, which includes mortgage, energy, heat, all the things that happen with where you reside. Transportation, and not just your car payment and your insurance, also gas. See how much gas money you're spending on gas. I don't have children, but if you do, I'm sure that's a pretty big expense. I have a pet, so I have a pets category. So I would say pets and or kids. Probably don't do pets and kids if you have both. Make that 2 separate categories. I have a personal care and separate medical category, but for the purposes of this, just combine both. Personal care can be, you get facials and stuff like that, or personal care could be therapy, or personal care could be Walgreens, beauty type products. Medical appointments, count all of that stuff up. Food. This will be, I feel the most eye-opening one. I say that because that's the most eye-opening one for me every single month. Groceries, dining out. If you spend money on lunch, count all of that up. Loans, student loans, credit card loans, personal loans. Your situation better than I do. How much are you spending that every month? And also note if that's the minimum payment. Because especially for credit cards and private student loans and all that stuff that has really high interest rates, take a note of that as well. Subscriptions. And in this, you might find out that you didn't even know you were subscribed to something, but you were paying for something. Count all of that up. And also see if those are overlapping things. Do you need both of those? Your business, not mine. Gifts and donations. We tithe. So that's something I put there. But if you're doing a lot of gifts or you're tithing or you're donating costs, keep a tally of it. And I know that's something that, unless it's tithes, can vary pretty widely, but just get an idea. I personally separate travel category and play category, but for the purpose of this, how much are you spending on traveling and playing? Play for me means I'm going to a basketball game. I'm going to a comedy show. We do a lot of that, so I have a whole category dedicated to that. It's kind of anything ad hoc entertainment. It really should be called entertainment. I actually might change it to entertainment after this. These categories may not necessarily fit your life. That's just what I use, but I always want you to add up all your finances, but I want you to put it in categories. So whatever categories work for you, everything should have a category. So count up how much you're spending on all of that stuff. So that's step number 1. I'll give you a moment. Welcome back. Step number 2, you have to make some goals. Everyone has different goals, and this is what I love the most about budgeting. My goal for 2025 was to save $20,000 in my high yield savings account. I have just accomplished that goal. I'm very happy. But you know what? I could have saved probably another $10,000 if I didn't what? Travel. Traveling is also one of my goals. We traveled a lot this year. That's something that we enjoy. If I didn't have travel as a goal, then I could have probably hit $30,000 in my high yield savings account. And some people may look at that and say, oh, you should have done that. I look at that and says, that wasn't my goal. So you need to make goals based on your circumstances. Is your goal to save enough to buy a house? Make it a goal. Or not save enough, save X amount. You know a SMART goal, what is it? I'm gonna put it on the screen. My favorite part of SMART goal is attainable, So don't say save $100,000 next year if you make 30K. Let's be a little real with ourselves. Your goal could be, I wanna pay off this credit card debt. Make it a goal. I want to travel to 3 countries. Make it a goal. Step 3, my favorite part, because it gets down and dirty, we're gonna make a budget. So I'm doing a whole separate video about the details of my Excel sheet budget that you can click on. Hopefully it's right here if I posted it. But you can use anything you could budget. You can use Excel sheet, you can use Notion, there's 1,000 apps dedicated to it. Whatever your preferred method is, perfectly fine. I'm not going to go into the details of the actual manually entering numbers part for this video, but based on those categories that I talked about earlier, you need to then budget for those specific categories, right? So I'm going to pull my budget on the screen here because, like I said, that's what I use. Again, I'm not going to go super detailed into this for this specific video, but looking at December, for example, I have the housing category. I personally separate the budget into check 1 and check 2. Here's why. Just because you say you're gonna make $10,000, let's say in December, does not mean you'll have $10,000 December 1st. And I feel like that's a big error people make with their budget. I won't have my 10K until December 15th, until my second check hits. So I differentiate money into the first half of the month and the second half of the month because that money isn't at the beginning of the month. And for me, most people, your mortgage is due the first, right? So most of my expenses are due on the first half of the month. So I have to account for, maybe I shouldn't buy those basketball tickets to the second half of the month because I don't have the money in the first half of the month. So I do my budget in check 1 and check 2. Another important thing on my budget that I actually always didn't have that I have now is projected versus actual. We like to have good ideas. We like to have good thoughts. At the end of the month, you can actually see what you actually spent money on. It's really for accountability more than anything. Like I said, I always didn't have it. And I used to be like, yep, I only spent X, Y, and Z on this, knowing doggone well I didn't. And so it's just to hold yourself accountable. So here's a real life example of what not to do that I continuously do. We have a date night budget for every other week that is $75 for every 2 weeks. We consistently go over that. So is that a good number to have there? No. So we have two options. We could either 1, spend less when we go on date night, or 2, increase the budget for that. And you're probably thinking, Anna, why would you increase it? Like, aren't you supposed to be sticking with it? It should be realistic. And so for 2026, I am going to increase our date night budget to something that's more reasonable and attainable for us because we like to experience life and experience each other on date nights. We like to do fun things. And so that's a way to not do this. Don't put a number down that you can't. That's how you can't reach because we can, but that you're not going to reach. But if you're a family of 5, you're probably not going to spend $100 a month on groceries. That's just not attainable. And so I would really look at what you spent in the previous months and see, okay, what can we reasonably put? Don't set yourself up for failure. That just defeats the purpose of it all, you know? And another key thing is list out everything. Everything. For example, I have hair, obviously, and Ashton also has hair. And we use the same hair products. And so we only have to get our products like once every blue moon. But when we do, it costs a good like $30, $40, $50 to re-up. And so I finally, within personal care, made a line for beauty hair care that we rarely put anything there, but I have it there just in case I need $50 that month. So I might put 0 for actual because I didn't spend anything that month, but I have it budgeted just so I know. So even if you don't necessarily always need something, just kind of put it there. For housing, we have a miscellaneous $100 category because Ashton's always going to the store to get something from AutoZone or something. I have it there. If he doesn't use the $100, cool. It carries over or I put it in the savings. But I personally get annoyed when I have to add things afterwards. And so kind of budget for anticipation, you know, versus having to add things later. And the last thing I'll say for step 3 is onto the accountability part. And I struggle with this as well. A lot of times after the month starts and I forgot about something, especially yearly subscriptions that hit random times, I just add it in a projected category as if it was there the whole time. Girl, it's December 20th. You made the budget on December 1st. You can't add something in there in the project. You didn't know that was going to happen. So what you need to do there is put projected 0 and actual, let's say, is $200. You didn't project for that. I struggle with this because I'm like, I don't like that number being red, you know, but you didn't know about that. And that's something you should know about for next December. So be truthful to yourself. Step 4, you got to keep it going. It's like weight loss. You can't just like eat an apple for a day and then run on a treadmill and then, you know, the weight sheds off. You have to kind of keep it going. So you have to track this. Do it as you will. I personally look at it bi-weekly, monthly. If you need discipline, you need to look at it every week, then do that. But you need to track it. And I would start putting in the money. Like once the money comes out, put in the actuals. So that's kind of keeping yourself aligned with how much money you have left. And not only tracking what you put there, also, like I said before, adding things that weren't in there. And so say if you did a last minute trip to Savannah, Georgia. I don't know who travels to Savannah, Georgia. I don't know why I gave Savannah, Georgia as an example. You need to go ahead and add that in there because now you have less money for the month. So once you get back from that trip, go ahead and add that in there. You don't have to wait till the end of the month to do that. And the last step is at the very end of the month, you need to go there and finalize everything and how much you spent and then make adjustments for the future. This will be a constant stages of pivoting. So like I said, the first time you make it, it's not going to be 100% correct. I know for a fact. You're going to have to keep pivoting. And so keep making adjustments based on what worked for you. Your goals may change over time. That's okay. You might find that subscriptions you don't need or whatever the case may be. Life will happen. And so keep making adjustments to your budget, but keep holding yourself accountable. This is not something that you should just abandon after you make it and then you're good for the go. Because I promise you, you're not going to stick to it the first time. And life happens and that's okay. But you got to keep making adjustments within your life and keep making adjustments on your spreadsheet. I think personal finance should be free for everyone. So if you go to the description, I put my budget spreadsheet that I use in the description. It's not perfect. It's just what I use. But if you want it, you can have it. Let me know if you like it. The colors are kind of ugly, not going to lie. It's not like aesthetic, but it works for me.